Say what you will about 2025 so far, man, but No Other Choice might end up being the most painfully timely movie of the entire year, because when Park Chan-wook makes a dark comedy about a guy getting chewed up and spit out by the job market, you already know it's not going to pull any punches. No Other Choice is the latest film from legendary director Park Chan-wook, and it tells the story of a veteran paper mill manager who descends into a world of violence in a desperate bid to reclaim his dignity after being laid off and humiliated by a ruthless job market. So I have to admit that I've seen far fewer films from the mind of Park Chan-wook than I would care to admit, but I still have enough wits about me to know that when he comes out with a new movie, it's usually one that you should be paying attention to. When I heard that his latest project was about a guy who gets laid off from his longtime career, gets thrown into a less than favorable job market, and aims to take out the other applicants one by one so that he can get his career back on track, I mean, how does that not instantly make your ears perk up and get you to buy a ticket right then and there? So when I sat down to watch this movie, I didn't really know what to expect, but I was hoping for a wild ride that's able to do a good job criticizing everything to do with AI in the workplace right now. Basically a recently unemployed guy's fever dream. And No Other Choice definitely succeeds in doing that. When it comes to the story they decided to go with here, it's scary just how timely the narrative is that this movie makes us follow, right? Because we're living in a time in society where the job market is total shit, people are worried that AI is going to replace them, and the price of basic commodities continues to skyrocket with no end in sight. The main character of this film is someone who has worked hard for the things that he has and has become pretty comfortable with his current lifestyle, but all of that takes a nosedive in pretty much the worst way possible, and at no fault of his own, when his longtime employer tosses him out with the rest of the garbage. So now if he wants to keep the house, his kids' music lessons going, and his wife's wardrobe up to snuff, he's got to go ahead and start getting his hands dirty. And that's where the title comes into play, and you see that double meaning. Is it no other choice because your back's against a wall and you need to do what you can to survive? Or is it because once you've completely dusted the rest of the competition, you're the only one even left, so they have to hire you for the job that you want? Clocking in at close to 2.5 hours, I feel like the screws could have been tightened up just a little bit when it comes to the pacing to give us a more streamlined and less meandering experience, but the film still does a good job getting its point across and staying engaging from beginning to end while treading that line between drama and comedy really well. Let's talk about the performances in this movie, because Lee Byung-hun, the actor who plays our main character here, is asked to do a lot of different things over the course of this wild story. We need to believe that he's a compassionate family man, that he's capable of capping some fools if need be, and that he's smart enough to cover his own ass if the authorities start asking questions as he goes on this totally unhinged quest of his. And making a character likable despite seeing them go out and do terrible, violent things is obviously no easy task, but our leading man does a really good job with this role, and he meets a lot of larger-than-life and quirky characters along the way that he has to try and work with or dispose of to get what he wants. One or two of them might end up being a bit too goofy for my liking, but the majority of them really deliver. And their supporting performances paired with the story of the movie create some interesting tension, because these aren't some evil people you want to see our protagonist put 6 feet underground. They're average guys in the same exact situation as him, but he's got to do what he's got to do to get back on top. So watching them interact is both unsettling and weirdly comical at the same time. We need to discuss the technicals when it comes to a movie like this that's helmed by a director as skilled and acclaimed as Park Chan-wook. I mean, what an eye this dude has, right? Because you can just tell that every single shot is so meticulously planned out ahead of time, and he's always framing every scene in interesting ways. The camera work in this movie is genuinely a cinephile's dream come true. Like, even when the characters are sitting around doing something mundane like drinking a beer in this film, you're gonna feel like you're watching the spaceship docking scene from Interstellar. And then if you told me this film was actually called Cross Dissolve the Movie, I probably would have believed you, because I don't know if there's a single 15-minute stretch in this thing where Park Chan-wook doesn't remind you that that's his all-time favorite trick. It all just looks fantastic. The colors, the shot selection, and the usage of light are gonna remind you what movies are supposed to look like. He really doesn't take any shortcuts or use any gimmicks in that regard. This whole experience might even come off as a little overindulgent from time to time because of just how much Park Chan-wook is showing off his craft, but you're gonna be happy that he does. Overall, guys, No Other Choice is an entertaining dark comedy that successfully dissects where we're at today in society regarding AI and the job market. The committed performances mixed with Park Chan-wook's skill set behind the camera make this a unique and worthwhile viewing experience if you're a fan of these kinds of thrillers that have a twisted, comical flavor to them. It might linger around a little bit longer than it should in an area or two, but I don't see how you walk out of the theater after this one feeling unsatisfied. No Other Choice gets a Sully score of 4 stars. So that's my review of the latest Korean film. What do you think is your favorite of the last decade? I think I have to go with Parasite from 2019, but let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.